Working in heating and air, I've had the opportunity to fix or replace air conditioners for dozens of people with MS, in part because they are so susceptible to problems that are caused by heat just due to their illness. So I am very pleased to introduce you to the winners of our free air conditioning system, Robert and Shannon. Now, this is a very unique couple and something I had never heard of because both of them have MS. They face challenges every day, but they face them with courage, love, and a sense of humor that is truly contagious.
MS is an autoimmune condition, which basically means the body's attacking itself. So with MS, the body attacks the myelin sheath, which is basically, you can think of it as the insulation around a wire that's around all your nerves. So without that, you get a lot of shorts and stuff. And so that's kind of what happens with MS. And so you can have certain areas are painful and it's just a pinched nerve somewhere. And there's not actually a problem where your body's thinking it's in pain. So it does all kinds of weird stuff because our whole bodies are controlled by our nerves. And when that sheath starts getting eaten away, then you have a lot of problems. I started having medical problems, couldn't figure out what was going on with me. Went to appointment after appointment, and it was probably 10 years later when they finally figured it out. It was a long process. Finally got to a neurologist that diagnosed me. So then everybody's like, oh man, that's so awful. And I'm just like, hey, I know what it is. I'm happy because at least I can treat it because I know what it is. You know, the unknown was even worse.
And then for me, I woke up one day and my entire body was numb. I couldn't even pick up my toothbrush, so I very carefully drove myself to the emergency room where they laughed at me because it's kind of weird. And then they admitted me to the hospital and did some MRIs and stuff, and then that's how I found out.
Shani actually worked retail and was working with my sister. That's how we got introduced. And then after we started dating and stuff, we found out that we go to the same clinic for our treatments. So now we go together. So it's kind of cool. Everybody knows us. We get special treatment. They have our own room that we go in for our infusions every month. Yeah. I have a computer science degree, worked in IT. My favorite job was being a database administrator and was working on Oracle certification, going down that route. My health problems just started messing up my life. I couldn't control when I would sleep or not, and I'd go weeks without sleeping, and then my body just crashed. Being in charge of multi-million-dollar projects and not being able to wake up and work was a little bit of a problem. I was very frustrated with myself, frustrated with my health and what was going on with me, and figured out that I needed to do something that I could do on my own schedule. That led me to starting my own occupation as a sharpener, where I was very successful, got certified as a master sharpener. Did that for many years and enjoyed it, but my health got worse and worse. Things just didn't work out. And then Shani came into my life. She said, wow, this is a lot better than working retail. So we're training Shani, and she's doing well, picking it up, and really doing great with the sharpening, and she's going to be doing most of the work, and then I'll be kind of supporting.
For MS, I actually worked a lot with animals. I worked at the Humane Society of Utah, and I was their behavior coordinator. So I did a lot of behavior assessments and just a lot of training and stuff with dogs. When my body went numb and everything, happened and I got diagnosed, I couldn't do it anymore. So I had to kind of take a step back from that.
I think it applies to a lot of autoimmune conditions that people have heat and cold as well. Intolerance. Heat seems to be the biggest with MS, and it causes a lot of pain and fatigue. My guess would be that just because the body's working overtime so hard, fighting itself, that it just can't take care of the heat. I had gotten a couple of bids, nothing real recently. One was I was getting a free air conditioner, and it ended up being an extremely expensive bid with very expensive labor and everything else in the furnace, but they were providing the actual air conditioner condenser for free. And it was more of a gimmick while they uppriced everything else to compensate for giving away the air conditioner. So that This kind of made me mad. I was just kind of waiting for a good time financially and with the things going on in my life. I was getting by with the swamp cooler okay. Then we got married and Shani moved in and she has a really hard time with that. So we started looking at getting it done in the next little bit when we saw the contest. I didn't think it was real. And when Jared set an appointment and he had a couple of things come up, he rescheduled a couple of times. And so I finally got irritated and I just said, look, if this is a scam, let's just not waste any more of my time. It was kind of blunt and to the point. And then Jared came back, he's like, no, it really is real. And
Like,
I was so like, oh, okay, sorry I was that way. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be real. It was surprising to me that he was willing to go above and beyond. He was going to not only give us the air conditioner and things, but he's like, anything else you want, we'll give you a discount and we'll do the install for free. Looking at water softeners and water filters and things like that. And he just really wanted to help us out. We had a water softener in this house when I bought it. So it was very, very old. And it had been repaired a couple of times and it got to the point that it was not allowing enough flow through it. It was kind of clogged up. We figured out what that was by bypassing it, so we just haven't had it in operation. It's something that we always knew that we wanted to do to reduce the water minerals and everything to get a softening system back in place. So it's nice to be able to do that and know that we have good water for everything. This is probably more important for me than Shani in some ways because I've always had severe allergies and asthma and take medication year-round with the swamp cooler just to tolerate all the pollen and stuff that comes in with that. So it'll be great to not have that coming in the house all summer. But it'll also reduce the dust and the dirt and help us keep the dirt down with the dogs that we have. So when we moved in, we got a new washer and dryer and didn't realize that we didn't have gas hookup for the dryer. And so we had a friend hook it up and it wasn't really done to code or properly. And so I was kind of embarrassed that they were going to come see what was done. And so I asked them to redo that and get it hooked up properly so it would be safe. I'm appreciative that mainly my wife will have less problems, but also for me. Not only the air conditioning, but the new furnace, because I have issues with the cold temperatures. And so now we have a system that's reliable and we know it'll be good for several years. And we're grateful for that and the opportunity to get the air conditioner.
Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.